So one thing we definitely want to bring up is the concept of rejection and it not being your enemy, but your friend. So if you've been following Helps You for any time, you know that I personally have jumped on this wagon of hope when it comes to, sorry, that was really weird. I don't ever say that. But when it comes to rejection, there's a lot of hope behind rejection. And the reality is rejection is actually something that can propel you into greatness if you let it. Mm-hmm. I have told this story over and over again, but when I graduated college, I don't know if you know this, Grace, when I graduated college, I was told by my parents, go get a job. And so I'm thinking I need to go get a job. But I loved music and I had just graduated with a business degree, which is it's great for music, but in reality, if you go straight into music, you're probably not making a lot of money. So I applied that year that I graduated for about 300 jobs. I didn't get not one. And so what did I end up doing? I ended up touring musically that year. And here I am. I'm great. No, I'm just kidding. No, that's not what I'm trying to say. I ended up touring musically and I actually propelled into what I always wanted to do. It just didn't look exactly like I thought it would look. Yeah. But all that rejection has piled into me with this ambitious need to do music. So that summer I did music and man, let me tell you, I look back at my younger self, that was about 10 years ago, and I was touring and actively traveling and I was just city to city doing this with a few others, and wow, it pushed me into a place where I had to be more ambitious because of the rejection. And I don't think I'd be the artist that I am right now if I didn't get rejected on such a massive scale. And so I never actually went into any kind of career. Feels almost divine, I never actually went into a career with business because that door never opened for me. So I naturally chose the next door that I had available, I guess, and that was to do music. And so here I am. And I think a lot of people are scared of rejection because the fear of rejection will haunt you, consume you, make you lose sleep. If you let it. Yeah. But rejection is so beautiful when you actually walk through that fear with your head up high and say, you know what, I am terrified right now, but I'm gonna walk through this fear and actually see the benefits of rejection, right? There's some benefits to rejection. For example, one benefit is, which I have found, is that it actually helps you explore options. Right?
That's very true. As the point you just made, you were all set to have a business career because that was your college degree, so you figured that's what you should do. But you had to explore other options.
Had to.
And I've been in similar situations where I've been rejected. I've lost a job, didn't get a job I was trying to get, or something like that. And so I'm like, okay, well, this isn't working. Let me try something else. And then looking back on it, I'm like, wow, that was actually a good thing.
Right.
That it turned out that way.
Yeah.
If I had gotten this thing that I was striving for, or this thing that I thought I really wanted, or genuinely did want at the time, my life would have turned out so differently, or my career pursuits, or my artistic pursuits, or whatever. So yeah, and it doesn't always feel like that at the time, because rejection stings, and we're not telling you not to feel the sting of rejection. I mean, that's only human.
That's real. It's human.
It's human, and it's okay to acknowledge that. Hey, that rejection hurts.
Right.
It's really okay.
Hurts a lot.
It's okay to acknowledge it. It's okay to acknowledge that it hurts a lot. Just don't stay there. Don't stay in the hurt. It's okay to acknowledge the hurt, the pain, the anger, bitterness, even. Acknowledge
what you
it.
do with it.
It's okay to acknowledge it, but then let it go and move on. Don't let it control you.
Yeah.
You want to move past it and continue on, explore other options, try again, whatever it is that you might be striving for.
Right.
But yeah, you don't want to let it consume you.
Yeah. And as an artist, when you are consumed by the fear of rejection or rejection itself, having actually been rejected, it stifles you and your art and your actual process of reaching people. I know I have felt just the fear of rejection with my own artistry as a musician. And there's just these moments where if I would never have been consumed in that kind of way, I would have actually propelled a lot further and quicker. But I was so consumed with, well, what if someone doesn't like this new project I'm doing? Honestly, who cares? Do it and let it go. And then if it does get rejected on a massive scale, do another one. But if you sit around waiting to see, right, in your own mind, and you're like, you can't see anything, honestly, because it's in your own mind. So if you don't ever put it out there, you'll never know. But if you just consume yourself with it mentally and you never do it, you just sit there. It paralyzes you.
Yeah, it can be paralyzing. Be paralyzing. And another thing about rejection is, you've probably heard this before, but don't take it personally. And easier said than done, of course, because it hurts, it stings. you want to take it personally, but really, most of the time with rejection, it's actually not personal. They're not rejecting you as a person. They may not be rejecting your art as, a personal expression of you. Whoever it is, that whether you're putting a song out there and you get 3 dislikes on Facebook and nothing else, so you feel rejected, or
doing pretty good actually.
I mean, somebody saw it,
Yeah.
or you're, trying to get an agent for a book. My industry is writing and writing fiction. So you put your book query out there trying to get an agent or a publisher, and you get 10 rejection slips saying thanks but no thanks. And you want to take it personally, but they're not, whoever it might be, they're not actually out there attacking you personally.
Yeah.
And something, even if they are, it's actually not that big a deal. Because if there's one person, if there's 100 people who don't like you or your art, just remember that there's 100 times that many people who do, and they're waiting for you and your art.
For you.
And you just need to push past that one person, that is 10 people, those 100 people who don't like you or your art, because the people who do need it and are waiting for it are right on the other side of all those people who don't want it.
Yeah.
And once you're on the other side, those people who don't want it are now behind you, and
they're out of the way.
They're out of the way.
Move on,
and now you are free to reach the people who genuinely do want and need your art.
Yeah.
So always keep that in mind. No matter who it might be who says no to you or your art, there's 10 times that many people who are going to say yes.
Yeah, that's a good way to see it. And there is just such an empowerment that happens when you actually just do get rejected. It's as if you have 10 doors open, you try to go through one, you get rejected, now it's 9. So you have this clear sense of it wasn't that, but now it's narrowed down. So you feel empowered to thrive almost. Okay, so I'm getting down to the wire here. Options are shutting down, so now I can focus and move forward. So it's just all about perspective. Mm-hmm. Sure, yeah, so-and-so rejected you. I've been rejected so much, and it does hurt. But eventually you come to a place, the more rejection you experience, the more you become empowered, and the more you start to see options differently. Yeah. And even more so, the more you kind of get used to the sting. It's like a good workout. I say this in the book, A good workout, when you've done it the first time, you might feel like you have a hangover or something. It hurts, I remember the first time I did a major workout through the mountains running at a running club, and I was just done. But, 7th time I did the same workout, same feeling, right? That rejection feeling comes again, not so bad, right? It still hurts, but it's not nearly as bad. So I want to encourage you guys, we want to really unleash you to your fullest potential through this series. We want you to see rejection differently. We want you to see rejection as something that is an indicator of where you should go, an empowerment tool, and something that is actually not bad. Something that is for you if you see it the right way. Yeah. It's like kind of like a clear guide, like an invisible guide as to which way you should be moving as an artist. So with that, what's one way that you could practice rejection? I've heard of people doing crazy things like at Starbucks or a coffee shop asking for a refill when they know it's not a part of the package that they bought from Starbucks. So, how can you practice rejection?
If that's where you need to start, that's okay. Because everybody's at a different level with how much rejection they faced, how much rejection they feel they can handle, what kind of rejection. If you're at a level, because I have totally been there, where, asking for a refill and having them say no, and wanting to go back out to my car and cry. I've actually been there.
It's just hard being told no.
Yeah. I have actually been there. Or I was like, no, it's not personal. I just don't get a refill on my coffee. But I've actually been that person. So I totally understand what it feels like to be rejected on any kind of level. Yeah. So if you need to go out and ask for free refills, you're not going to get, you're not going to get, just to get used to hearing the word no, that's okay too. And it doesn't mean that you're any less of a person. Just start your journey where you need to start to get used to one level of rejection. And it'll sting, but then you know what the sting feels like. You were talking about with the workout analogy. It's like, it still hurt at running those laps up in the mountains, but you kind of knew what to expect now, and you knew you could get through it because you've gotten through it before.
Yeah, and you see
came
the
out
benefits.
Stronger on the other end.
Yeah, the stronger benefits. You see the benefits of running through the mountains after a while. And you don't always see that in the initial process of having done it. And I started to see the benefits, and then you're out there, and you now see the benefits more clearly than the actual pain.
Yes.
So we want you to disassociate the pain aspect with rejection. It's still there, let's be honest, but we want you to attribute more growth and actual positivity to rejection than the pain and the emotional hurt that goes with it. So how can you start practicing? That's what we're asking you. Go write it down. And if you are in our group on Facebook, the Creatives Corner, actually go ahead and write that in the group so we can talk to you. Say that you've watched this video and how you're going to start practicing rejection. We'll know exactly what you're talking about.
We'd love to hear from you, and we'd love to hear your stories and your victories.
Yeah.